Hello viewer, this is Vivek from learnandpractice.com. In this video, we will discuss some shortcut methods to quickly solve questions related to time and work. So let's move to the first question. A can do a work in 20 days. A and B together can do the work in 15 days. In how many days can B do the work alone? Always remember, if A can do a work in 20 days, that means in one day he can do 1 by 20 amount of work. So we can write 1 by 20 amount of work was done by A. But he is working for 15 days, so we can write it as 15 by 20 amount of work is done by A. So this can be written as 3 by 4. So 3 by 4th amount of work is done by A. That means the remaining 1 by 4th amount of work will be done by B in 15 days. So 1 by 4th amount, that means we can write it as 24%, right? 25%. So 1 by 4th amount of work is done by B in 15 days, or we can write it as 25% of the work was done by B in 15 days. So 100% work will be done in how many days? We can simply multiply it by 4 to make it 100%. So 100% of the work will be done by B in how many days? 60 days. Now let's move to the second question. A can do a work in 24 days, B can do the same work in 40 days. A started the work, but after 12 days he left the work, and B started. In how many days from now 75% of the work will be completed? Okay, so A is working for 12 days and he can do the work in 24 days. That means we can write 12 by 24% of the work was done by A in one day by A. It can also be written as 1 by 2 amount of work is done by A, or we can write 50% of the work is done by A in 12 days, and the remaining work is done by B. That means remaining 50% of the work will be done by B. But here we just have to calculate the 75% of the work. That means 50% is already done and we have to calculate 25% more. Okay, and here we can see that B can do the entire work in 40 days. That means B can do 100% of the work in 40 days, and we have to calculate 25% of the work. So 25% of the work will be done by B in how many days? Simply 100 divided by 4 will give you 25%, and this side also 40 divided by 4 will give you 10 days. So B will complete the remaining work in 10 days, 10 more days. Now let's move to the next question, question number 3. If A and B can do a piece of work in 9 and 18 days respectively, A and B started working together, but A leaves the work 3 days before the completion. So in how many days the work will be completed now? Now A can do the work in 9 days, but he worked 3 days till 3 days before the completion of the work. So let's consider that the work was completed in X days. That means A worked for X minus 3 days. So we can write A worked for X minus 3 days and he can complete the work in 9 days. And B worked for whole time period. That means B worked for X days and he can complete the work in 18 days. They work together and they can complete the work here. Now if we solve this, we can get the answer. So take the LCM. LCM would be 18. If we solve this, will give you 2x minus 6 plus x is equal to 1. Solve this, so we'll get 3x minus 6 is equal to 18. So this will come as 3x minus 6 is equal to 18, or x is equal to 24 by 3, which will give us 8 days. So the work will be completed in 8 days. Now let's move to the next question, question number 4. A can do a work in 20 days, B can do the same work in 30 days, A, B, C together can complete the work in 10 days. So in how many days C alone can do the entire work? This question can be solved using various methods. One approach could be to take A worked for 10 days, so 10 by 20 plus 10 by 30 plus 10 by C is equal to 1, and solve this equation. You will get the value of C. Now we'll solve with the help of some other method, with the help of percentages method. So here A is working for 10 days and he can do the entire work in 20 days. So A is working for 10 days, 10 by 20 amount of work was done by A in 1 day. This can be written as 50%, right? Because it is 1 by 2. Now B is working for 30 days, working for 10 days and he can complete the work in 30 days. So for B we can write 10 by 30 amount of work can be done by B in 1 day. So this will give us 33.33 percentage. So A and B together can complete the work 83.33% of work in 10 days. So remaining work would be 16 point some percentages amount of work will be completed by C in 10 days, right? So if we take approximately 16% of the work is completed by C in 10 days, and we have to calculate the 100% work which can be calculated by C in how many days. So if 16% of the work is completed by C in 10 days, so 100% would be completed in how many days? Now this will be 16 point something. So if you multiply it with 6, we will get close to 100%, right? So if you multiply it by 6, you will get the C can complete the entire work in 60 days. Now let's move to the next question, question number 5. A and B can complete a piece of work in 80 days and 120 days respectively. They started working together, but A left after 20 days. After another 12 days, C joined B and they completed the work in 28 more days. In how many days can C alone complete the work? So here A worked for 20 days and he can complete the work in 80 days. That means we can write 20 by 80 amount of work was completed by A in 1 day. This can be written as 1 by 4, or we can write it as 25% of the work is completed by A. Similarly, B worked for entire period. That means B worked for 20 plus 12 plus 28, which is 60. So B worked for 60 days and he can complete the work in 120 days. That means we can write 60 divided by 120. This is the B's work in 1 day. So this 1 by 2. So B completed 50% of the work. So 50 plus 25, 75% of the work was completed by A and B, and remaining 25% of the work was completed by C. So C worked for 28 days, right? So 25% of the work was completed by C in 28 days. So 100% we have to calculate in how many days C alone can complete the work. So if he can complete the work, if he can do 25% of the work in 28 days, so 100% of the work he can do in how many days? Multiply it by 4 and we'll get, so 100% of the work will be done by C in 112 days. Now let's move to the next question, question number 6. A and B enter into a partnership with capitals as 7:8. At the end of 10 months, A withdraws. If they receive profits in the ratio of 7:9, find for how long B's capital was used. So let's assume that A invested 7x amount and B invested 8x amount. And A invested for 10 months, right? Because A withdrawing after 10 months, so A invested for 10 months. So we can write amount invested by A is 7x and B invested for 10 months. Amount invested by B is 8x and we don't know the time period for how long he invested, which that we have to calculate. And at the end of the time period, they got profit in the ratio of 7:9. Now solve this, you will get the answer. This will give us T is equal to 90 by 8, or we can write it as 45 by 4. So for 45 by 4 months, B's capital was used. Now let's move to the next question, question number 7. A and B together can do a piece of work in 30 days. A having worked for 16 days, then B finishes the remaining work in 44 days. In how many days shall B finish the whole work alone? Okay. So if A and B work together, they can complete the work in 30 days, right? So we can write it 30A plus 30B, and they will complete the work, one amount of work. But in reality, E worked for 16 days and then B finishes the remaining work in 44 days. So the new question from the second statement would be A worked for 16 days and B worked for 44 days, and then they have completed the work. Now equate these two equations and we'll get so on equating these two equations, and if we solve this, we will get A is equal to B. That means efficiency of A and B are same. So if A and B both working together, they can complete the work in 30 days, and since their efficiency is same, so if they start working individually or separately, they can complete the work in double the amount. That means they can complete the work in 60 days. So A and B both can complete the work in 60 days if they work individually. Now let's move to the next question, question number 8. A person employed 15 men to do a work in 76 days. After 20 days, he realized that the work can't be finished in scheduled time with the present force. So he employed 5 more men, and the work was finished one day earlier. How many days would he have been behind the schedule if he had not admitted the new men? Okay, so from the first statement, it's clear that he employed 15 men to complete a work in 76 days. Okay. So this can be, and those 15 men worked for 20 days. So this can be written as 15 men worked for 20 days. So total man days would be 300. So total 300 is the man days. But after 20 days, he realized that the work cannot be completed with 15 men. So he hired 5 more men. So that now the new men are 20 men. And with 20 men, he completed the work in one less day. That means instead of 76 days, he completed the work in 75 days. So 20 days we have already covered. So 75 minus 20 will give 55 days. So with 20 men, he worked for 55 days. So total man days would be 1100. So for the entire time period, the total man days he worked with is 1400 man days. Right? So this is the 1400 man days. So actually the target was to complete the work in 76 days. But he completed the work in 75 days with 1400 man days. So these are the 1400 man days, and if we get the actual time period, so we can get divided with the 15 man, the original man, and we will get the total number of days, right? So the target was to complete in 76 days, and he completed the 1400 by 15 days, and that's the difference between these 2 days, that the target and the actual days that we have to calculate. So simply 76 days minus 1400 minus 15 days will give us the answer. If we solve this, we'll get, so on solving we will get 2260 by 15, or this will give us 52 by 3 days. So this is our answer. Now let's move to the question number 9. A can do a work in 20 days, B can complete the work in 20 days, C can complete the work in 40 days. They start to work together and C left the work 2 days before the end of the work. What is the total number of days needed to complete the work? Well, let's consider that the work was completed in X days, and A and B worked till the end. So A worked for X days, B worked for X days. write A worked for x days, so x by 20. Similarly for B, x by 20. And C left 2 days before, so C worked for x minus 2 days, and he can complete the work in 40 days. And they all three they were started working together and they completed the work. Now if we solve this, we can get the answer. So take the LCM from here. LCM would be 40. So this will give us 2x plus 2x 4x plus x 5x. This will give 5x minus 2 is equal to 40. This will give us x is equal to 42 by 5. That means the work was completed in 42 by 5, or we can also write it as 8.4 days. Now let's move to the question number 10. If 50 men can do a piece of work in 12 days, working 6 hours a day, how many hours a day 60 men have to work in order to do another piece of work which is twice as great as work 1, and they are working for 16 days. So remember, whenever such kind of questions are given where two works are given and the data is given in terms of man and days, so always use formula work 1 is equal to man into days divided by work 2 is equal to man into days. So work 1 is equal to man into days, and if hours is given, then hours will be also be multiplied, divided by work 2 is equal to man 2 into days 2 into hours 2. Now put the values here. 50 men are working for 12 days, 6 hours in a day. Work 2 will be twice the work of 1, so it will be 2. And 60 men, they are working for 16 days, and number of hours we have to calculate. Now solve this, we'll get the answer. So from here 12 5, this will give us 10, then this 2 will go here, so this will give us 2 8, this will be 3 and 4, this will be 5 and 2. So value of h will be 15 by 2, or we can write it as 7.5. So for the second work, they have to work for 7.5 hours in a day. Now let's move to the next question, question number 11. X alone can do a piece of work in 12 days. Y alone can do the same work in 24 days. If X and Y work on alternate days, starting with X on first day, then how many days will be required to finish the entire work? Okay, so this question is related to an alternate work concept. So X can do a piece of work in 12 days, and he is working on the first day, and on the second day Y is working. So in one day X can do 1 by 12 amount of work. So on first day he is doing 1 by 12 amount of work. On the second day Y is working and he is doing 1 by 24 amount of work. So in overall 2 days, this much amount of work is X and Y both are doing, and this pattern is getting repeated. That means X, then Y, then again X, then again Y, and so on. Okay? So we'll take 2 days of work. So if we solve this, we'll get LCM will be 24, and this will give us 2 plus 1 3 by 24. So this will give us 1 by 8. That means in 2 days they are doing 1 by 8 amount of work. Right? So if 1 by 8 amount of work is getting completed in 2 days, so we have to calculate in how much time the complete work will be completed. So if 1 by 8 amount of work is getting completed in 2 days, so 1 amount of, or 100% of the work will be getting completed in how many days? So 1 amount of work will be completed in how many days? Now simply cross multiply, we'll get the answer. So if we cross multiply this, we'll get this will give us, this will multiply 2 into 1 divided by 1 by 8, or this will give us 16 days. So the work will be completed in 16 days. Now let's move to the question number 12. 6 typists can do a piece of work in 8 hours. If 3 more typists whose speed is double join them, then same work will be finished in how many hours? Okay, so this is related with the efficiency. Now 6 typists can do a piece of work in 8 hours. So here 6 typists can do a piece of work in 8 hours. And 3 more typists whose speed is double. So here, if the speed of a man is double or more, that means the time required to complete the task will be less. So here if the speed is double, then the time required will be half. Now it's saying 3 more typists whose speed is double. That means 1 new typist will be equal to 2 old typists, right? So here 3 typists would be equal to 6 typists, 6 old typists. So now here we are getting 6 more typists. So 6 typists are already there. Here we are getting 6 more typists. Now if the 6 typists were doing the work in 8 hours and we have added 6 new typists, that means the typists are getting doubled. So the time required to complete the task would be half of the old time required. So this will give us 4 hours. Now let's move to the next question, question number 13. Work done by A in 1 day is half of the work done by B in 1 day. Okay. Work done by B in 1 day is half of the work done by C in 1 day. If C can finish the work in 7 days, then in how many days A, B and C together can finish the work? Okay, so this is related with the efficiency. If you see, work done by A in 1 day is half of the work done by B. That means A's efficiency is less than B. Or we can say A will take twice time than B. So we can write A will take twice time than B to complete a task. Now work done by B in 1 day is half of the work done by C. So here B's efficiency is less than C. That means B will take twice time to complete a task than C. So B will take twice time than C to complete a task. Now C can finish a work in 7 days. C can finish a work in 7 days. So this value would be 14 and C's value would be 28. Now if A, B and C all 3 work together, in how much time they will be able to complete the work? So we can write 1 by 28 plus 1 by 14 plus 1 by 7, and if we calculate this, we'll get the answer. So take this LCM would be 28, 1 plus 2 plus 4, this will give us 6, 7 by 28, or we can write as 1 by 4. So if A, B and C all 3 are working together, they will be able to complete the work in 4 days. Now let's move to the next question, question number 14. A, B and C together can complete a piece of work in 10 days. B and C together can work thrice as much as A, and A and B together work 4 times as much as C. In what time can each of them finish the work? Okay. So it's given A, B and C together can complete a piece of work in 10 days. So 1 by A, we can write 1 by A plus 1 by B plus 1 by C. They can complete the work in 10 days. Now B plus C together thrice as A. So B plus C together, they are thrice as A. A, B together work 4 times as much as C. So A and B together, they are 4 times as much as C. Now put these values in first equation and we'll get the value of A and C. So first solve for first equation. So we'll get 1 by A plus, instead of 1 by B plus 1 by C, we can put 3 by A is equal to 1 by 10. if we take this LCM, then this will be A, LCM will be A, 3 plus 1 4, so the value of A will be 40. So A can complete the work in 40 days. Similarly, from the equation second, this equation, put this value in this first equation and we'll get the value of C. So instead of 1 plus A plus 1 plus B, you can write 4 by C plus 1 by C is equal to 1 by 10. If we solve this, we will get C is equal to 50. So C can complete the work in 50 days. Now we got A's value and C's value. We can put these two values in first equation and we'll get the value of B. So let's put this value. So 1 by A, that is 40, plus 1 by B plus 1 by C, that is 50, is equal to 1 by 10 from the first equation. Now solve this. So here the LCM will be, take this 1 by B, we can take 1 by B would be equal to 1 by 10 minus 1 by 40 minus 1 by 50. Okay. So 1 by B will be equal to, LCM would be, for this we can get, so this will be 50. So LCM will be 200. This will give 20 minus 5 minus 4. So if we solve this, we'll get 1 by B is equal to 11 by 200. So B would be able to complete the task in 200 by 11 days. Now let's move to the next question, which is question number 15. A can do a piece of work in 15 days, B can do in 20 days. They finished the work with the help of C in 5 days and received 45 as their wages. What will be the share of each person? So remember, whenever the question is asked about wages, so the wages are always divided based on their efficiency. Efficiency means their 1 day work. That means in 1 day how much amount of work they can do. So if you see, A can do a work in 15 days. So in 1 day he can do 1 by 15 amount of work. Similarly, B can do 1 by 20 amount of work in 1 day. And A, B and C, all three, they are working for 5 days. Right? So let's calculate the efficiency of efficiency of A and B is already given, but we have to calculate the efficiency of C. And then we can take the ratio, and then in that ratio we can divide the 45 to get the answer. So it is said that to calculate the efficiency of C, it is said that they all are working for 5 days, right? So we can write A worked for 5 days plus B worked for 5 days plus C worked for 5 days, and they completed the work. I calculate this is equal to 1 minus, this will be 1 by 3, this will be 1 by 4. So 1 by 3 minus 1 by 4. So 5 by C will give you, LCM would be 12. This will give you 12 minus 4 minus 3. So take this will give us 5 by 12. This will cancel out. So C's efficiency is 1 by 12. So now we got the efficiency of A, B and C. Now take the ratio of their efficiencies. So the ratio will be 1 by 15 ratio 1 by 20 ratio 1 by 12. Now to simplify this, simply take the LCM and multiply it with that LCM. So LCM would be 60 multiplied, this will give us 4 ratio 3 ratio 5. So now we got the ratio of their efficiency. So this 45, the wage will be divided in this ratio. So it will be, so we can write for A, the wage will be divided 4 by 5 plus 5 plus 3, 8 plus 4, 12, multiplied by 45. For B, this would be 3 by 12 multiplied by 45, and for C, this will be 5 by 12 multiplied by 45. Now if we solve this, we will get the answer from here. So this will be 15, this will be 11.25, and this will be 18.75. So now let's move to the next question, which is question number 16. Pipe A and B can fill a cistern in 10 and 12 hours respectively, and pipe C can empty it in 6 hours. If all three pipes are opened simultaneously, then how much time will be required for the tank to be full? Okay. So this problem is related with pipe and cistern, but it can be solved with the concepts of time and work. So you'll always remember that if the pipes are filling the cistern, then the work will be taken as positive, and if it's emptying, then the work will be taken as negative. Now see, all three pipes are working simultaneously, and A can fill in 12 hours, 10 hours, and B can fill in 12 hours. That means A can do the task in 10 hours, and B can do the task in 12 hours, and C can do the task in minus 6 hours. Minus because it's emptying. Simply write, if A, B and C all three are working, so A is working 1 by 10, he can do 1 by 10 amount of work in one day, B can do 1 by 12, and C can do 1 by 6, and finally they are completing the task. Now take the LCM and solve this, we'll get the answer. So this will be, LCM will be 60, this will give 6 plus 5 minus 10, this will give us 1 by 60. That means the tank will be filled in 60 hours. Now question number 17. So let's consider that there are two taps A and B, and if they both are working together for 8 minutes, they can fill the tank. So suppose tab A can fill the tank in TA time, and tab B can fill the tank in TB time, and they are working together for 8 minutes to complete the task. So 8 by TA plus 8 by TB, and the task will be completed, the tank will be filled. Now here it is saying one tap is closed after 3 minutes, and the other tap fills the remaining tap in 15 minutes. Let's use the concept of work is equal to man into days here. So we know the formula is work is equal to man into days. Now here we can consider the taps as man, and days means these 3 and 15 minutes. So from the first sentence we can write that the work 1 was completed by tab A and B working together for 8 minutes. And from the second sentence we can say the work was completed by, if one tap is closed after 3 minutes, that means suppose A was closed after 3 minutes. So for 3 minutes A and B both worked, but after that A was closed and B worked for the remaining 15 minutes. Now equate these two equations. So we'll get A plus B into 8 is equal to 15. Now solve this and we'll get the answer. Solve this and we'll get, so this will give us A plus B, this will be minus 6, so this will give us 5 is equal to B into 15. So if we solve this, we'll get A is equal to 2B. So this is basically the efficiency, that means A is twice as B. That means A will take less time to complete the work, or we can say A is faster than B because his efficiency is more. So now we know that A is the faster tab and B is the slower. Okay, so this is showing efficiency. Now from this equation it is clear that A will take less time to complete the task and B will take more time to do the same task. So if we write this in terms of time, that means the time taken by B will be twice the time taken by A, right? put this value in the first equation, this equation. So it was 8 by TA plus 8 by, and TB we can put as 2TA, because A is the faster tab, and we have to calculate the value of faster tab. That's why we are putting the value in terms of A, and this will be equal to A. Now I take the LCM, so this will give us, so this will be 2TA, this will be 8 into 2 plus 8 is equal to 1. Now solve for that. So this will give us 8 into 6, 16 plus 8, 24 is equal to 2TA. So TA is equal to 12. That means time taken by faster tab to fill the tank is 12 hours. Sorry, the question is given in terms of minutes, so it will be 12 minutes. So hope you find this video useful. You can find more such videos and articles on our website www.learnandpractice.com. Thank you.